which is very, very significant, as you will see yourself just now, as all the appearance of the table are either minimal and best meetings, which makes definitely the table very, very highly significant. And as we said many times, these problems the program that we are using is Dr. Alexander Rothenberg, scientists who came from Russia, like Professor Reeves. Professor Reeves showed him this phenomenon. He checked it and clearly realized that it's true. He became Orthodox Jew. And he wrote also a book called All His Truths About the Courts. And he says the most important in biblical table, which make it significant, is not statistic, it's best meeting and minimal, which no doubt goes together with statistic. But let us see how significant is this table. So what we have in this table, so you have here, as it is taken from YouTube I did, so you don't see the full table, but the most of it you will see. So here you have in black, אין פתרון, no solution to the terror, parallel, which is very significant in the table. Now, so what you have here, once in the Torah, in black, אין פתרון, no solution, a parallel which is significant to the terror, in red you can see. Why? Because the root and the source of the terror is Islam. You can see Islam, letter after letter, skip of 2, minimal in the Old Torah, coming here next to Arabs, because they believe in it, and Amalekites. This is the evil forces want to wipe out Israel, Amalekites, as we said many times. The meaning of the word is, according to our rabbis, Amlak, a nation who want to lick the Jewish blood like a dog. So the Islam here, the letter Mem, is sharing letter with Amalekite, which also makes it very significant. So, best meeting with the Torah of no solution to terror, which is basically from the Islam, because they believe that Israel land belongs to the Arabs, and they also want to rule the whole world. Definitely it is known. And they claim that Israel are conquerors. They conquer the land from the Palestinians, and there are some Jewish leftists which also believe, because they don't live in the Torah, which says clearly that the land was given to Israel by God. So what more you have in this table? So as we saw, no solution to the terror because of this Islam, the Amalekite. And then you have who are those really who are the terrorists, Islam. So you have in black Iran, the Iranians, you can see Iran in black. And then you have the agents, which are Hamas and Fatah. Hamas and Fatah. By the way, this is the best meeting in the Torah of Hamas and Fatah, which makes the table also very significant. As we said, that one of the principles to make tables significant is best meetings. So you have your Hamas and Fatah best meeting, and you have no solution, and Islam best meetings, which is certainly very, very interesting. Then, what more you have here? So, by the way, this is the year 5779, because we did it then, because the terror attacks were very strongly at that time. Now the question is, so what is the solution? So the solution is also here. Minimal in the Torah Ash, the Torah is a fire. And the idea is our Rabbi tells us to the fire to burn all our enemies, as the Torah says. Yeah. Torah is fire. Torah, Talmud Esh Dat Lamo. So Torah Esh Dat Lamo. The Torah is fire for Jews through which they can burn their enemies, the thorns. Then what is also amazing that you have on the same line appearance of Messiah. In fact, it's minimal skip of Messiah, which comes here, very interesting, clear in terms that this is what the Messiah will do. Messiah, son of Joseph. Joseph, son of David, they will finish off the enemies, they will burn them in fire. As is written, Bet Yaakov Esh, the house of Jacob will be fire, and Bet Yosef Le'ava, and flame will be sun, and Bet Ekah and Edom will be Kash. זה בית יעקב אש, בית יוסף לעבור, ובית עשיו לקש. They will be burned like straw is burned easily. Amazing. So all this you have in this table. So no doubt that having such a table, when all of them are either minimal or best meetings, and exactly in the right way, here you have the Sam. The Sam is the Samael. Is a heavenly angel of the Amalekite. And he has to do with the left, because Samael and small are very similar. The letter Shin, changeable. And as the Rabbi says, the meaning of the word Samael is like blinding God. He's the evil force who does not want God to rule the world. They want to blind him, not to see what is going on. They are against Sabbath, again, everything we teach us about God. And these are the leftists in Israel also. It's against the government. Lieberman, Meretz are against the Sabbath. So another interesting table, all of them really, as I said, very, very high significant. And this is unbelievable one, because in this one, you can see immediately it appears in one book, Deuteronomy, which is against our millennia, and in one chapter, 21 Kaf verses from 17 to 23, unbelievable. And what you have here in black, you can see in black coming out Islami, and was the Islami Ishmael, the Ishmaelite Islami. Yeah, those terrorists, Islami, and Ishmael. Then you have parallel terror and Hamas, and the PLO up there. Unbelievable to have all this in few verses in one chapter, and all of them are connected because those are the Ishmael, the Islamite, yeah, and parallel, very significant, Israel and terror, as we saw in the other table. It's amazing to see how each table complements the other one. Then when we go further about the terrorists, we see interesting table in which also you have a sentence which tells us, Lo yeh will not be an end to terror. Similar idea. Why? Because the purpose of the terror, as we see just now, what is the purpose of the terror? So again, you have here terror, no end to it, because of Iran, the terrorists of Iran, because the Amalekite are those evil forces against Israel, always came to fight with Jews. But because Jews did not keep the Sabbath, so they came to attack them in the desert because they were loose in fulfilling mitzvot, because they had doubt in faith. They asked, God is with us or not? Amazing, this is why it comes. So here you have Iran, terror. Then you have the Amalekite, letter after letter. Then you have the evil, the heavenly force, angel of the Amalekite Samael, and the Arabs who are also involved in terror in Israel. With the Hamas together, they are working. Then they are called also the snake, because like the first snake that we know, the story with Adam, and then Ishmael, minimal skip of Ishmael. We have Ishmael, but the skip is minimal. And then come here, I didn't translate it, but what is in Lot Techalelu, the Torah, God said to Israel, Lo techalelu, don't desecrate my holy things. Don't desecrate the Shabbos. Don't desecrate the sanctity, the holiness between a woman. Unbelievable. All of this coming here. So another interesting table. So why really we have this terrorist known to it? Amazing saying of chapter, it's called Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, chapter Rabbi Eliezer, chapter 32. It says the following: more than 2,000 years ago, why was his name was called Ishmael? Why is the name of Ishmael with Ishmael? Because it is future tense. He was called because of the past, because he was praying to God and God accepted her praying, his mother. So says Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, because in the future, now where we are now, definitely the Holy One, blessed be He, will hearken to the cry of the people arising, definitely from the oppression, terror, which the children of Ishmael will bring about in the land, in Israel, in the last days. Therefore was his name called in future Ishmael. Unbelievable. How more than 2,000 years ago, already we had this book. One can get this book, yeah? Why he was called Ishmael in future, and exactly this why he's calling so many troubles with the terrorists, killing, murdering, wounding, and people crying and shouting and praying. And God promised that He will listen to their prayer, and those terrorists and those evil forces, anti-Semites, will be burned in fire of the, as we saw, hoping they will be soon. So very interesting and significant table, unbelievable. If you look into it properly, you will see how some told me that it can be one to many millions. But he said that no, I didn't only to see that are the best meeting, minimal, and all these things, which is enough to prove clearly it is a real Bible code, which is the Bible code is a blueprint of creation. It's one of the ways of the Torah. Everything which is going to happen and happen in the Torah, which was the blueprint of creation. So interesting and significant table for our time.